Hey, and welcome back to the Coding Hub. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the mistakes I did in my indie iOS development career so that you hopefully don't make the same mistakes. So let's get into it. So number one is actually my app title and subtitle. The reason why I bring this up is because you have to make sure that your name and your subtitle and your keyword metadata do not repeat. And the reason for this is if they repeat, then it's the lowest one that takes effect. So for example, if you're trying to target screen time, but you also have it in your keywords, it will mean that screen time will be lower down the priority if it's inside your keyword. So the priority order works in name, subtitle, and then keywords. So your most important keywords need to be on the name, and then secondary on the subtitle, and then thirdly in the keyword metadata. Number two is to actually check the name of the app you're creating. So I kid you not, I actually created an app and I chose a name for it thinking it doesn't really matter. And it turned out that the name was Trademark. Now, it wasn't an issue. I resolved the problem. Apple emailed me. The company sent a message to Apple. Apple then messaged me saying, asking me, do I have the right to use this name and so on. And I said, no. And then I very quickly updated the name of the app, removed all references to the old name. And, that was all resolved quick and easy. But at the time, it was a little bit scary because you think, oh no, what have I done? I don't want to get in trouble, but it's not as bad. But yeah, do make sure you're using a name that you won't get in trouble for because you might be. Okay, number three is actually translations. So it's really important to do translations, not only in the build, so translations of your app, but actually to do translations in all different languages that you want to target for your application, for the screenshots, for the description, the keywords and everything. And yeah, that will help a lot if you're targeting lots of different languages that you think are important for your application. And yeah, it's definitely good for getting those new users joining and using your application, especially if it's targeted to their language. Number four is screenshots. Now, screenshots are very important, and I don't think I've actually nailed down how the screenshots look. If you go through my apps, you can see that I've kind of got a similar-ish design that I think works for me and my apps. It's probably not the best, but one thing I do want to mention is, these are always evolving, so keep evolving your screenshots and making them better. But one thing to also take into account is actually clicking on view all media sizes and checking that you don't have old screenshots in some of your different screen sizes and so on. The reason for this is as your app evolves and if it's around for multiple different years, you might end up adding screenshots to a specific screen size that is maybe not the default anymore. And then when you do add new screenshots, you might end up with a mismatch in, especially if you're targeting lots of different languages, you might end up having old screenshots for specific screen sizes. So some users might be seeing, screenshots that are no longer relevant to your app. And that can be really bad for targeting. And also, it might reduce conversion for those users and so on. So yeah, do check your screenshots and also continuously update them to make sure you are improving them as you go. Okay, and finally, it's distribution. Distribution is so important. You have to make sure you know how you're going to distribute your application. You can't just post it onto the App Store and think it's going to get lots and lots of downloads because I hate to break it to you, but no one is waiting for your application and you have to get it out there to people and make sure you find a way to be able to consistently bring in new users to your application. And that's through marketing, whether it's through advertising, social media, or all three. You need to find a way to get your application in front of people to then hopefully get them to download it and convert. So yeah, that's my tips that I learned from starting out as an indie iOS developer. I hope these helped. And if they did, please leave a like and comment below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.